Hey, I never thought that I would finally get the opportunity to do this. But today, this is my chance. I'm honestly very happy to do this. You might be asking yourselves right now, who the heck are you? Well, I'm about to tell you who I am. My name is Diego Gomez, and today I'm gonna do something special that I never thought I would be doing today. Right now, I really want to take the time to reflect on my childhood TV shows, and I'm going to salute on a bunch of them in the process. And I'm gonna also mention some of the actors as well. Many of these actors have given up their time to participate in the television show, and it's only right that I show my appreciation towards them. So this is exactly what I will be doing today. Now, let me first start off by saying that everyone has their own childhood memories. Yes, everyone has a childhood, good or bad. Some people have a bad childhood due to something that happened in their life, but I won't go into that. I'm just gonna say that some people experience something traumatic in their life growing up, but nevertheless, let's not focus on that. Instead, I'm going to be reflecting on the positive side of a person's childhood, which unfortunately not everyone gets to experience. Yes, this is all about the special topic of television shows made for the children. Not only that, but I will also reference toys as well, but I'll get to that later. For right now, let's just focus on many of the great television shows out there made for kids in general, such as Us, part of the 2000s generation. We are slowly growing up every day, and then we become adults, like some of us are right now. Some of us are early teenagers or adults, and we are moving on to the next steps of our lives. Before I even go into that, let me just tell you about what I believe when it comes to when I mention these kinds of topics that relate to your childhood. I strongly believe that no one is too old to refer back to their childhood. Why, you might ask? Well, think about it. If you grow up with something that you enjoy, such as a show or a toy that you used to have, wouldn't you want to refer back to it when you're older to get these memories back into your mind? I know I would. In this case, sometimes I like to look up these shows to take some time to reflect on what the actors have done for me and for other children that watch these shows and enjoy them while they have the chance to do so. Then, there's also things that people don't enjoy or don't get to grow up with, leading to them missing out on what they want to have that other children do have. Some people completely don't get the chance to enjoy their life when they get the chance, and that's very sad. Sometimes it can just be so bad to the point where they just dread their childhood altogether. For those who have had a little something in your life that is bad and want to try to just forget about it and move on with your life, here's some advice for you. Don't keep on reflecting on the bad stuff. Focus on the good stuff from your childhood if you can. If there isn't anything good from your childhood, then I really feel bad for you, because you didn't get to experience what a lot of people like. My heart goes out to all people who didn't have a good childhood. But anyway, I will stop rambling and let's get to the positive stuff. So, let me tell you a little about myself and about what my childhood has been like for me. So, I'm a guy born on January 29th, 2000. Not everything was good about my childhood. Despite me being diagnosed with retinopathy of prematurity and going blind a year and a half later, I have to say that there have been some positive advantages to my childhood. Yes, this includes what I've been taught as a child. Yes, I have been blind for pretty much all my life, but that doesn't stop me from enjoying the television shows from my childhood that I will always remember. There were so many TV shows that I really enjoyed from many of those television stations out there, and I really want to take a moment to remember all of them, especially when it comes to all of the actors and actresses who put all the time and effort to producing many of these shows. Let me tell you something right now. Becoming an actor isn't an easy job. You really need to be skilled in acting, and you have to have lots of experience in theater in order to become an actor. This is why I've come today, to show my appreciation to a lot of these actors and actresses who have put their effort in producing many of these shows, in which I will now list. To those people who really dislike these shows and do not take these life lessons for granted, you've gotta ask yourself these questions. Do I really understand these lessons in life that these shows are trying to teach? Do I really understand what it means to be a true friend to someone? And last but not least, do I understand the benefits of my future when it comes to these shows? Let me try to revise that question, actually, so you'll be able to understand it better. This will make more sense. From what these shows actually teach, do I really understand my own future? I want you to think about that for a moment, and think about the values and skills that you are being taught about in your life from these shows. I want you to be thinking about these questions very closely. Just making assumptions about the shows isn't going to help you, and that's why I want you to think about these questions as we go along here. Understand? Great. Let's go. Anyway, let's begin with our first show, Dragon Tales. This show has really taught me a lot of great valuable lessons in my life. From being silly and having a sense of humor to learning about how to be nice to your friends. I would say that you can learn a lot of great values about friendships from this particular show. Sometimes friendships can last for quite a long time, even for the rest of your life. And other friendships, not so much. Think about that. We sometimes break up friendships for some apparent reason, and others we have to stop for good. Yeah, it is really heartbreaking, but in the show, there are a lot of great examples of that. The show even demonstrates how to get along with siblings. You see, sometimes it's hard to get along with your siblings, especially when they cause trouble. I want you to understand something here. No matter what happens in your life, from this valuable lesson, you should still love them, no matter what they'll do to annoy you. Yes, you may not get along with them, but that shouldn't grant you the right to hate on them. Yes, there are families that are really just not good. But one thing that the show has taught me is that I need to get along with my siblings, no matter how annoying they might be. That isn't much of a big deal anymore for me, since I learned this long ago. I show that I love my brother and sister from the bottom of my heart, even though they might be crazy sometimes in what they do. You know what else is important that you should know? I'll give you a solution to how you can manage your problems with your siblings. Do you ever feel angry to the point where you just want to hit something? Let me tell you something. Hitting someone is never the answer here. So what do you do? I want you to think of this scene from one of the episodes. I don't recall which episode it was, but do you recall when Max kept getting annoyed with his sister Emmy just because he didn't know how to express himself? Well, he eventually learned that hitting someone is never the answer to the problem. Instead, both of them have to listen to each other, and they must talk to each other about how they are feeling. The other person, in this case, needs to take their feelings for granted and understand their mistakes so that they won't do it again. These are the purposes of these shows. There are plenty of examples I could probably list in this salute, but you get the idea. Watch the show for yourself and you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, here is my message to the actors. I would really like to thank the following actors: Andrea Lipman, Ty Olsson, who did the role of Ord, Danny McKinnon, Kathleen Barr, who does the acting for Wheezy, Jason Mitchell, who plays Zach, Chantal Strand, who played the role of Cassie, Eli Gabay, who does the role of Quetzal, and many other cast and crew members out there. I could list them all, but it would make this salute very long. Now, I have something to say to all of the actors who participated in the show. To all the actors and actresses, thank you for taking the time to create this show. You have really taught me a lot of important life lessons, and you've really served me well. You have really illustrated a lot through this show, which has taught me so much in becoming a more positive person. Yes, I have really developed into a positive man overall. and I don't know what I would do without this show. Right now I'm in college, trying to get a job where I can assist people with disabilities who need help learning about technology, especially helping people with my disability, which is blindness. I have no vision whatsoever, in case you didn't know. Another good friend of mine that remembers this show very well is Eric. The same thing goes to another friend of mine named Dominic. Of course, our families have grown up with this show, along with many other shows, which I will talk about in a moment. So many of my friends remember the show, and we all would just really like to say thank you for inspiring our lives. You really taught us a lot of great lessons that we can use in our lives. May this show be remembered and live on for generations to come. A lot of you have put a lot of hard work in producing the show, and we want to take the time to thank you for it. So, thank you. Thank you to the music producers. Thank you to the actors. And most importantly, thank you to everybody who helped put this show together. Without the show, who knows where we all would be today. Now the next show I want to talk about, I need to do a little explanation. So as you may or may not know, there used to be a television channel called PBS Kids Sprout. It launched in September 2005, and it went on until about mid-2017. I wanted to explain about a few shows from there. Well, these are more like blocks, because they weren't just shows. Rather, they were special programs for the Sproutlets. I would go to the TV and watch this channel all the time, along with Nick Jr. I'll get to that one later, probably in the second part or something. Anyway, back to the topic. The show that I really want to address here is called The Good Night Show. It had many hosts throughout the years. I'll give you examples of who I remember from that segment block. So, let's start at the very beginning. In the very beginning, there were lots of kids participating in the show. If I remember correctly, I don't think there were many puppeteers. At least that's what I remember. Please correct me if I'm wrong about this, but this is from my knowledge. So, the very first host we had, her name was Melanie Martinez. Of course, she was herself before she left in 2006 for reasons in which I will not mention. I don't think I need to talk about it. I guess I could find out for myself, but I don't feel like it. Then, eventually in that year, we got another host. His name was Leo, who was voiced by Noel McNeil. He didn't last for very long in the show though, but he was a great addition at the time. Then, this is where more additional things were added to the show. This is where it's pretty much finalized. Eventually, we got the host, Nina, played by Michelle Leap. In addition to that, a new puppet came in which we all know a star, voiced by Stacia Newcomb. For the purposes of the salute, I know there are many other people who took part in this show, but I don't really know them. I still want to thank them regardless, even though I may not know them. And now, a message to Michelle and Stacia, as well as the other people who have participated in the show. I give my full respect to them. That's the right thing to do. First, I'll start with Michelle. Michelle, if you are watching this, thank you for inspiring me on becoming a young man. You really brightened up my nights with all the fun activities and songs. I actually really enjoyed the music and stories as I was getting ready for bed. Even though the show ran every 3 hours per time zone. Yeah, there were times that I would go to bed late, but I just wanted to stay up to watch the episode one last time. I am in the Pacific time zone, so our time here would have already occurred twice. I even remember all of the arts and crafts, as well as the other things that Sproutlets would send over to the channel to share with us. That was a lot of fun to see. I remember so much from this show, I could just look back on it every day. Yes, including the stretches, the stories, the music, the sign language. Even though I don't know any sign language, the shows that came in between, the humor, and most importantly, getting ready for bed. I really want to say thank you for helping me develop into a positive person that I am now. I really enjoyed the humor that Star brought, and that would just leave me with a great big smile on my face. One of the most memorable things that I'll never forget is that Hush Hush Little Fish poem that would come at the end of the segment block. What makes it even more special is the music accompaniment that would go along with it. I really like how beautiful that music sounds. This was the music that I grew up with, and I'd really like to find it if I can. Does anyone know where that music came from? And is there any way I can find it? If possible, I'd love to find as much of the music as I can, even if I have to download it. The music is what inspired me the most. If anyone has any sources on where the music comes from, I'll be delighted to hear any feedback on that information. Anyway, you've really put on a lot of great memories for me and my family, and I'll never forget them. I'm thankful to have such a show like this. Thank you again, Michelle. Now for the rest of the cast and crew. I just wanted to thank all of you for putting on a great show for me to watch and adapt to. You really helped me get into a routine as well as finding lots of enjoyment in my life. I especially enjoy the positivity in Star as well as the other hosts. I still remember like half of the songs to this day, and I actually used to sing them a lot when I was younger. I also remember another segment that was hosted that was known as the Sprouts News-a-thon, which was good for Christmas Eve since, well, you know, the kids have to be ready for Christmas presents and all that stuff. All of the hosts and people that put a lot of effort into the show, you've done a great job. Thanks again for helping me develop into the guy that I am today. I really miss the show, though, because it was so awesome. Now, let's go back to a great memory that I will never forget. I remember this day like it was yesterday. So it was January 29th, 2006, and I officially turned 6 years old on that day. Well, my mom surprised me with something that I never thought would happen. I was featured on a birthday card for one of those birthday segments that was celebrated on Sprout. Yes, I'm 21 now, as of the time I'm making this. I just wanted to take the time to thank Kevin Yamada, who was the host that day, if I remember correctly. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure I'm correct on that. Anyway, thank you for taking the time to give me a birthday shout out on TV. I was very surprised by this, and I had a smile on my face. Man, do I really wish I could find a tape of that day. I really would like to reflect back on that great memory. I was only a little boy, and I really enjoyed Sprout. So this was very special to me. This is a day that I will never forget, because I had the best birthday that year. Of course, I had a great time with my family coming over to my house and celebrating my birthday. Wow, that was quite a birthday. Yes, my family came over to my house and hung out with me, and I got to have cake. But wow, what an inspiration! I hate to cut this salute so soon, but it looks like I will need to divide this salute into multiple parts, because I think this has gone on long enough. I'll have more to talk about in the second part of this salute, so stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I would like to thank all the people who took the time to make Sprout such a memorable channel. Thank you to all the people who have helped me become a mature and positive person. Without this, I don't know where I would be today. Thank you to every single actor and actress who has helped make this such a memorable channel. Anyway, that's all for now. See you soon on the second part of my salute, and have a great day. Most importantly, stay safe. Okay, I never thought